Gerridae, or as they are commonly known as water striders, are a group of semi-aquatic insects and have developed a wide range of morphologies and behaviours that make them evolutionarily fascinating. The two-dimensional environment that they inhabit also renders them an extremely tractable taxon for collection and study. The ecology and evolution of this group is relatively well studied. Much of their activity is concerned with mating behaviour and reflects a dramatic conflict between the sexes. Even the casual viewer can quickly discern this conflict. Single males chase, grasp, and leap upon single females in frantic but usually futile attempts to mate. Females flee from this harassment, but if males have successfully gained a purchase on them, a vigorous struggle ensues. These struggles include rolls, somersaults, and leverage flips, which usually dislodge males. Less often, males endure, and females submit to copulation. There is clearly intense sexual conflict over mating rate that results from strong asymmetry between the sexes in the relative costs and benefits of mating. Females mate much more often than the few times required for full fertility. In fact, resisting in the face of repeated harassment by males can be even more costly than mating itself. Fleeing from males may displace females from prime foraging areas and otherwise occupy their time. Furthermore, if a male successfully grasps a female, she must struggle to disengage from him. The struggles appear to be energetically costly, and they dramatically increase the risk of predation to females. Thus, in females there are energetic and mortality costs of both mating and remaining single. Adaptive female mating behaviour must somehow balance these costs. Females act to balance these costs by varying their reluctance to mate, and the intensity or duration of these struggles is a measure of this reluctance. Australia is home to 129 species of water striders, comprising 30 genera and 6 families, but studies of their mating strategies is sparse. So my colleagues and I saw it as important to address this regional disparity in research in case Australian species have exciting and novel evolutionary histories. At Smiths Lake on the east coast of Australia, the genus Tenagogerris can be found. We thought it would be interesting to look at the concept of convenience polyandry, where we focus on the proposition that males can make it so costly for females to repel their amorous attempts that females will mate out of convenience. For example, the act of preventing population may have a direct energetic cost. As costs are elevated, it will become adaptive for females to accept that male. To test this hypothesis, mating behaviour was compared under 3 sex ratios: 1:1, 4:1, and 1:4. Where harassment of females and thus the cost of repelling males was expected to be high in the male bias treatment.
So how do we collect our data? Well, firstly, we went out into the field and collected our specimens. We then brought them back to the field station and pulled out the mating pairs. We then separated the male from the female and placed them into their respective boxes. We then took out one female from the female container and placed it into the sex arena. In the sex arena, we left her there for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, we put a male in. Once the male was in, we then observed their behaviours.
Once a male attempted to mate with a female, we would start timing for resistance time. If a male successfully mounted a female, we would stop timing, or if he was not successful after 5 minutes, we would also stop timing. This was to record duration of pre-mating struggle. We also recorded the number of attempts a male would have at mating with a female. For the results, we came out with a nihil hypothesis, meaning there was no significant difference in struggle time between the 3 ratios. This suggests that the female of this water strata genus do not show behaviours of convenience polyandry to decrease the cost of sexual harassment. This is interesting, as other studies done on different water strata genus from other parts of the world suggested that the water stratas did support the convenience polyandry hypothesis. As mentioned before, not many studies have been done on Australian water strata mating strategies, and this could be support for Australian species having exciting and novel evolutionary histories.